to do a little bit of a release routine today. So just a nice low energy, low key way to bring a little more balance into your body and hopefully feel really nice and calm at the end. So I just have with me a cushion for my head, my trusty Bratz ball, had this one for about 9 years, still going strong. A small soft ball, you could use a tennis ball, this is actually a little weight but it's quite squishy, which is quite nice to roll on, and we may do a couple of things with the TheraBand as well. So we're going to start lying down on our backs. We will have cushion under head, and we are just going to bring your ball underneath your pelvis. I'm just going to scooch myself back so that you can see what I'm doing. So to start with, you can just give the weight of your pelvis into that ball. So I really want you to think about hammocking your ribcage down towards the floor and just letting those bones of your pelvis widen over that ball. So just take a few breaths here, and as you inhale, we're going to think about sending that breath to the back of your ribs and then exhaling just to let that go. So you don't have to exaggerate your breath. Just allow your breath to flow in and out nice and easily through your nose. And as you're doing that, just visualize that nice opening through the backs of those ribs. And then we're just going to start to go for a gentle little roll forward and back with your pelvis. Ball will just move ever so slightly. And then just take that to a little side to side movement, just allowing that gentle little seesawing of your thigh bones. Draw a few circles with your pelvis. Continuous circles today. Or simply circle back in the other direction. We're going to bring your legs up, have them a little way towards you, so you can have a wee tuck of your pelvis, and then you can just think of going for a little bit of a wag of your tail. So now your thigh bones can start to move a little bit here. So we're just going to find a little bit of a massage for the back of your pelvis. And then, sorry, just scooch my ball back a fraction, just let your knees drop over to one side. So we are lying onto your SIJ, your sacroiliac joint, and we're just going to draw a few little circles with your thigh bones one way, and then a few back the other way. So just getting really specific onto that spot. And then just keeping your feet nice and loose and floppy, go for a little bit of a march of your thigh bones. To the other side, if you need to bring your feet down to adjust, go ahead and do so. So just going for a little bit of a circle there. Goes back in the opposite direction. Finding a little bit of a march of those thigh bones. Bring yourself back into the center, have another little waggle around there if that feels good. We'll lower one foot and then the other foot, and then just take your ball away and just take a moment to see how your lower spine is now feeling, sitting in contact with the floor. So there's not a specific thing that you're meant to feel. I'm feeling that things have got a little wider and flatter, and I have a little bit more of a space. So you may feel less. I tend to be a little bit of a flat spine person, so I now have myself a little bit of a curve. All right, so we will now bring that ball behind your shoulder blades. Just going to move that cushion back. So we're just going to have a little roll over the top of that ball, to start with. So just a gentle little fold forward and back. Let the weight of your head rest into your hands. So we're just moving through that nice little bit of flexion and extension of your spine. And then from here you can come and find a little lift of your hips and just go for a little roll up and down, finding a little bit of a massage between those shoulder blades. And this can be a little bit of a hot spot for some. When you're doing this, you can try bringing your elbows in, so we've got a little bit more space between those shoulder blades, and just go for a little bit of a bear against a tree action there. That all the way down. Just carefully take that ball away. Relax your head back onto your cushion. Once you've had a chance to just see how that's feeling through that upper spine, just keeping your head on your cushion, we're just going to go for a little nod up and down. Just a gentle press of your skull back into that cushion. If you can coordinate it, you can try and let your eyes go the opposite way to your nose. Little shifty eyes as we go from side to side. Sensory platform a little bit more. Inviting a little bit of release through your neck. And then we're going to come into the center. And then we're just going to roll over onto one side of your skull. So there's a little bone called your suboccipital bone at the very bottom of your skull there. And we're just going to roll onto that and just draw a few little nose circles there. Circle back the other way. We'll head over to the other side and repeat those little circles. Back there. Bring everything back into the center. All right, so we're going to come onto your side. Using your big ball once again, we're just going to take that underneath your shoulder, so underneath your rib cage rather, just below your armpit. If it feels more comfortable in your neck, you can sneak your cushion in there, or you can just rest your head down on your arm. And then we're just going to take a few breaths into that ball. The weight of your rib cage to be taken by that ball. Encourage a little bit more of that movement of our ribs. For a little roll forward and back. You might need to adjust the position of your cushion, and we're just going to go for a little fold in and out of that arm towards your head, keeping it nice and heavy, and then a little wave up and down. Arm away, and we're just going to move your ball down a little further. And we'll do that same thing here. So just breathing into that ball. Off your floating ribs. Roll in there. Little bend in and out with that arm. Wave. wave up and down. Lengthen that all the way out. Before we come and do that on the other side, just take a quick moment to take that all away. Relax everything down beside you and just close your eyes and compare how those two sides of your body are feeling. So there's not a compulsory you should feel this, but it's good to just observe what may have shifted. I'm definitely feeling a bit longer through my right side, and that's also feeling quite a lot flatter down to the floor, particularly through my hip and my shoulder. Alright, then we will sneak down to the other end, or you can just listen to my voice and face the other way. So, a little higher to begin, and then just breathing. Move your ribs. And then just find your little rock and roll. We have our little wave. Give me 5. High five your screen. Or a little further down. And repeat. Change that little rock and roll one more time. And just find a little bend in and out towards your head. But we'll just come and do our little comparison. So just lying yourselves all the way down onto your backs. Close your eyes and just have a little check-in and see if the two sides of your body are feeling more similar now. If you're feeling that there is still a significant difference, you can go back and do a little bit more on the side that feels tighter. You can always just pause your video and go back and do just that. Alrighty, so we are now going to come back to your side. We'll just stay at this end because that's where we are. So I'm going to use this little ball in my hand today because it's got a wee bit of weight to it and it's going to give me a wee bit of extra stretch. You can absolutely do this just with your arm, entirely up to you. So with either hand on the floor or your ball, we're just going to go for a little reach forward, reach for your screen, and then just guide that back. So we're finding that sense of your shoulder blade abducting or protracting, depending on how you think of things. Going to roll forward, find a little hold onto that ball, and then we're just going to follow that arm all the way open, like opening a big book, and then guide that all the way back. Reaching up and across. So we're just going to do 2 more of those, letting that little weight, if you're using it, be heavy in your hand, or just relaxing your arm to make it as heavy as you can. Into a nice big chalk circle, and I'm just going to move a couple of things out of my wingspan. That's better. Alright, so this time we start with that same movement, and then we're going to trace that lovely big circle all the way round overhead. I'm going to follow that hand with your eyes, spreading your rib ribcage down into the floor. Take that back in the other direction, finding that lovely sweep open. Big stretch of your rib cage and your shoulder. And then just come onto your back for a moment. Lengthen your arms and your legs. And just have a little tune in here. Body is feeling. So again, I've dropped a little bit on that side. I'm also just feeling a little bit more sort of tingly and awake, having moved my spine in that direction. What do you feel? Feel free to leave me a comment. Alrighty, let's do that on the other side. So we're just going to go for those little reaches to begin with, so just inviting that nice bit of movement in that shoulder. We will reach forward, grab hold of your wee ball and just find that nice opening. Find that one side moves more easily than the other. Totally normal. Find a nice big generous circle. Using that arm to motivate that movement. Take the other way. Little underarm bowl up and over. Oh, maybe that's overarm. Alrighty, so just come back to your back and again just have a wee moment to check in. See how those two sides of your body are feeling. Just find that nice sense of opening through your shoulders, through your hips, and just have that little scan through to check and see how your body is sitting into the floor. And then we're just going to stay on our backs and come and do a nice little starfish stretch. So we're just going to have your feet hips distance apart with a good strong, you can't even see my foot, flex of your foot that away. And your arms will be just above your shoulders. This is where it gets tricky to fit things into frame. So you can, if you have a little set of two balls, you can hold on to these just so you can keep that nice sense of connection through the back of the shoulder. Otherwise, just making a little ball shape with your hand. So we're going to turn your head towards one side. On your in-breath, that side starts to come up off the floor. Arm is going to bring your shoulder, shoulder brings your head, head brings your ribcage, ribcage brings your pelvis. And we stay here for 3 breaths. Breathing into the back of your ribs. Breathe out to reach further away with your hand. Breath, just let yourself ease back into the center. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. looking at your hand. Arm brings ribcage, head, pelvis, thigh bones rotate, and then big breath in, big breath out. Your back heel. Guiding that all the way back to the floor. And we'll just do that once more on each side. Coming up and over. All the way back to rest in the center. Alrighty, so we're going to come up and just do a little bit of 4-point kneeling here. So, oh my goodness, look at the hair. One moment. Seconds fantasy. Yes, it matters. Your hands under your shoulders, and we're just going to come and find a nice little cat-cow here to start with. So we're going to inhale to find a lift of your tail, reaching your chest through your hands, and then exhale, tail tucks under and we ripple through your spine. So we're just going to find a few of those little rolls back and forward, seeing of that movement we can eke out of your spine. And then we will just come and pause in the center. We're going to lift one heel and we're just going to go for a little turn towards your heel. Turn towards your heel. Little tail wag here. Placing that foot back down and we'll just lift the other side and same thing. And then just tuck your toes and we're going to come back into a little squat. So allowing your heels to drop down towards the floor and that lower spine to open. You could, if you like, put your cushion underneath your heels if you want a little bit more support there. And then we're just going to take a moment to hang forward. Just let your shoulders drop, your head, your neck drop. If you like, you can grab hold of those elbows just to let gravity give you a little bit of extra length through the front and back of your body. Head a little shake and nod while we're down here. Arms down to the ground, and then we will just find a nice roll up to standing to finish. So going for that little tuck of your tail and then slowly restacking yourselves all the way up to standing. You can give those shoulders a little roll out at the end. Alrighty folks, so a short one and a gentle one today. We didn't get to the TheraBand, so maybe next time I do a release video we'll do a little bit more of a lower body focus. Today we just did some nice spiraling and work on getting some more movement through our shoulders and our ribs. I hope that you are feeling pleasantly relaxed and that you have a great rest of your day. If you enjoyed this video, please do click like and subscribe. Check out my other videos, and I'd love to hear from you about what you would like to see from me. What would be useful for you? What would be fun for you? Alrighty, take care guys. Ka kite.